You've been telling yourself you'll start when you're ready, when you know enough, when you feel strong enough, when the timing is right. But what if that moment never comes, because it was never supposed to? You know exactly what I'm talking about. That thing you've been putting off, the conversation, the decision, the step you already know God is asking you to take. You've prayed about it, you've thought about it, you've planned for it, but you haven't done it. And the reason always sounds responsible. I need more preparation. I'm not qualified yet. I just need a little more time. But be honest with yourself. That's not wisdom. That's fear wearing a mask. Every day you wait for readiness, something inside you gets quieter. That fire dims, that urgency fades, and before long, the thing God placed on your heart starts to feel like a memory instead of a calling. Overthinking is not preparation, it's paralysis dressed in good intentions. And the enemy doesn't need to destroy you, he just needs to delay you long enough that you never start. There is a pattern in Scripture that should shake every man who is waiting to feel ready. God called Gideon while he was hiding. Judges 6, the Midianites had crushed Israel, and where was Gideon? Threshing wheat in a winepress, out of sight, afraid. An angel appeared and called him a mighty warrior. Gideon's response? My clan is the weakest. I am the least in my family. He didn't feel mighty. He didn't feel ready. God called him anyway, not because Gideon had it together, but because God did. Then there's Jeremiah, a young man, probably a teenager, and God tells him he's been appointed as a prophet to the nations. Jeremiah's answer, I do not know how to speak. I am only a youth. And God doesn't argue with him. He doesn't say, no, you're actually very talented. He says, do not say, I am only a youth. I am with you. God never told Jeremiah he was ready. He told him he wasn't alone. And Peter, standing in a boat in the middle of a storm, he sees Jesus walking on the water and says, Lord, if it's you, tell me to come. Jesus says one word, come. And Peter steps out. He didn't wait for the storm to stop. He didn't wait for calm water. He didn't wait until he understood the physics of what was happening. He stepped out while the wind was still blowing, and he walked until the moment he looked down and started overthinking it. That's the pattern. God doesn't call the ready, he calls the willing. And readiness is built in the act of obedience, not before it. You've been treating readiness like a destination, something you arrive at, but it's not. It never was. Readiness is what God builds in you after you move. The courage comes after the first step. The clarity comes after the commitment. The strength comes after you start carrying the weight. You're not waiting for readiness. You're waiting for certainty. And God never promised you that. He promised you himself. That gap between who you are and who you're called to be, you don't close it by thinking. You close it by walking, and grace meets you in the middle. Not before, in the middle. The man God is building you into does not exist on the other side of more preparation. He exists on the other side of your next act of faith. So stop waiting. Step out of the winepress. Open your mouth before you feel eloquent. Get out of the boat while the storm is still raging. You were never supposed to be ready. You were supposed to be willing.